Today, we're diving into one of the strangest, most fascinating quirks in the entire world of sports. It's all about a single design choice made more than 100 years ago that ended up dictating the evolution of a global game. It shaped every player, every tactic, and every single moment on the field. This is the story of how a piece of equipment literally built a sport in its own image. I mean, really think about that for a second. In pretty much any other sport, golf, baseball, even ice hockey, you can find gear for lefties. But in field hockey, nope, it just doesn't exist. Not at the Olympics, not in your local club league, not anywhere. Every single player uses the exact same kind of stick. Now, this isn't some weird coincidence, it's by design. And once you understand the why behind it, you unlock the secret to the entire sport. So what's the deal? It's not about what players prefer, and it's not a manufacturing shortcut. The reason field hockey is a right-handed only club is because of a very deliberate, very old rule, a foundational law of the game that's enforced by the sport's highest governing body. Okay, let's get into the specifics. The International Hockey Federation, the FIH, has a simple but powerful mandate. The only part of the stick you can legally use to hit the ball is the flat face, which is on the left side. The other side is rounded, and if you hit the ball with it, that's a foul. This one single design constraint forces every player on the planet into a right-handed stance. And believe me, this design is completely locked in. The rules are incredibly precise about everything, from the stick's maximum weight to its length. But the real gatekeeper here is something called the ring test. Every official stick has to be able to pass through a 51mm ring. This brilliant little rule makes it impossible for anyone to design a stick with a bulky, double-sided, or ambidextrous head. So, yeah, there are absolutely no workarounds. So why go to all this trouble? Well, the number one reason is just plain old safety. Imagine two players going in for a tackle. Right now, with the rule in place, their sticks swing on these predictable parallel paths. But if you introduced a left-handed stick into that mix, suddenly that player's follow-through would swing directly into the opponent's body or even their head. The risk of serious injury would go through the roof. So uniformity creates predictability, and in a game this fast, predictability is safety. Okay, so the rule makes the game safer. Got it. But it also does something else, something that has a massive impact on the athletes themselves. This one regulation has basically engineered a very specific type of player with a set of skills that is totally counterintuitive to how most of us think about sports. This is what's known as top hand dominance, and it's just fascinating. You'd automatically think the right hand at the bottom of the stick does all the important work, right? Wrong. In elite field hockey, it's the complete opposite. Your left hand at the top is the control hand. It's the steering wheel providing all the delicate twists and turns for dribbling and flipping the stick over. The right hand, it's just the engine. It's there for power and support. And because that top hand is so critical, elite coaches are obsessed with building up a player's left-hand dexterity. Young players spend countless hours doing left-hand-only dribbling drills, all to build up the wrist and forearm strength you need for legendary skills like the Indian dribble. For a righty, this is like learning to write your signature with your non-dominant hand. It's incredibly difficult, but absolutely essential to play at a high level. So the rule literally shapes the player's body, but its influence doesn't stop there. It extends out and fundamentally warps the entire field of play. The game just isn't symmetrical. The stick's design has created a permanent bias that dictates exactly how and where the game unfolds. And we're not just talking hypothetically here. The stats from elite matches prove it. Ball possession is overwhelmingly concentrated on the right side of the field. Why? Because teams naturally want to attack down that right flank, where players can keep the ball on their stronger, more protected forehand side. Players even talk about having a strong side, the right, and a weak side, the left. The whole game is seen through this lopsided lens. Now, here's the logical next step, right? If you have a universal strength, you've got to have a universal weakness. And you guessed it, the entire strategic playbook of modern field hockey has evolved to exploit the vulnerability that this right-handed stick creates for every single player. And here it is, the Achilles heel of every field hockey player. Playing on your reverse side, so on the left side of your body, is just biomechanically harder. It's slower, it's less powerful, and it requires that tricky 180-degree stick rotation we talked about. Because of that, the number one job of any defender is to force the attacker to play on their reverse stick. It is the core principle of defense. This tactic is called channeling, and it's the most fundamental defensive skill in the book. A good defender never faces an attacker head-on. Instead, they get side onto them, using their body to block off the attacker's strong right side. They basically create a channel and invite the attacker to go left into that weaker reverse stick zone where it's much easier to make a tackle. It's just a beautiful tactical counter to the stick's limitations. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, the story takes its most incredible turn. In a sport that forces everyone to play right-handed, it turns out that natural left-handers often have a secret, built-in advantage. It is a genuine sporting paradox. And this quote from the sports column just nails it, doesn't it? Lefties are forced to adapt to a right-handed world, and in doing so, they often find these unique, creative ways to succeed, which brings an unpredictability to their game that other players can really struggle with. And get this, the data is stunning. A study of thousands of shots at the European Championships found something truly remarkable. The left-handed players, using the exact same right-handed stick as everyone else, actually had a significantly higher scoring percentage. You'll notice their shots were a little bit slower on average, but they were way more effective. I mean, just look at that difference on the screen. It's more than 5 percentage points. In an elite sport, that is a massive advantage in scoring efficiency. So what on earth is going on? Why are the players who seem to be at a disadvantage actually so much better at scoring? Well, this slide right here explains the paradox perfectly. Let's look at ice hockey for a second, where players can choose their stick. What do most of them do? They put their dominant hand on top for better control. Field hockey forces every player to do that. And what that means is, from the very first day they pick up a stick, a natural left-hander is putting their dominant, more coordinated hand in the most important position for skill and control. They have a natural advantage in a sport that seems like it was designed against them. Incredible. So when you boil it all down, it all comes back to this one powerful truth. The stick isn't just a piece of equipment in field hockey, it is the game. It is the central architect. It dictates how every player moves, it shapes the geography of the field, it defines every strategy, and it even gives this unexpected edge to a unique group of athletes. The entire sport, from top to bottom, has been built within the confines of this one elegant, asymmetrical design. And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible rules, whether in sports, at our jobs, or just in our everyday lives, are quietly shaping the world that we move through every single day?